If you don't like wagons, there's something wrong with you. My name's Corey, this is Offbeat Motors, and I'm addicted to station wagons. Stay tuned to find out why. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with my lazy ass dog Simba, and we're going to go over why I like station wagons. And particularly, we're going to end up talking about one particular wagon that's on the market today and what is being done with it. But more on that in a minute. So, for starters, the station wagon's been around for 50, 60, 70 plus years. They've come in all different sizes, anywhere from compact, like the Hyundai Elantra. Back in the 90s, they had a version of the wagon that they sold, all the way up to full-size wagons with the big old, the wagons from the 60s and 70s with those big old V8s and everything in them. At one point in time, wagons pretty much ruled the U.S. market sales, where everybody that had a family was looking to get a wagon and put one in their driveway because it was the in thing to have. This was most notable throughout the 70s and 60s mainly. Some of it into the 80s, and then that's when it started to go down. Sales started to decrease back in the late 80s and going into the 90s, and by the end of the 90s they were virtually gone. There were some few stragglers and whatnot. Now the reason they started going away from wagons is because minivan and SUVs came along, and that's what started growing. That's what people started buying. Today, SUVs are pretty much dominating it and killing off the sedans, as we all know. But all hope was not lost. There were a few companies out there that continued to make wagons, mainly BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes. They continued to make wagons throughout the 90s and 2000s and whatnot, and they still do it to this day. Along the ways, you've had some hot versions of these wagons. Go back to the 80s, you had AMG that tuned one of the Mercedes wagons known as the Hammer, which everybody knows that. Dodge came along in the 2000s with the Magnum SRT8. BMW's had a couple of, they had 5 series wagons and 3 series wagons. And then you can't obviously talk about wagons without mentioning the Audi S4 Avante, which they sold here in the States. I know overseas they sold a couple other versions like the RS4, and they also sold some S6, RSX versions of the Avant over there, which was wagon here in the States, but we didn't get those. Cadillac stepped up to the game for a couple of years with the CTS V-Wagon, which was freaking badass. And Mercedes also, with their hot wagons, was the E55 back in the early 2000s, and then that morphed into the E63, which is still on sale today is the E63. Now, as of lately, the last couple of years, the wagon has kind of made a little bit of a comeback, and companies like Volvo, they reintroduced a wagon, which was the V60, and they also expanded upon it with the V90. Audi has their all-road out there still, which is basically a jacked-up version, a little bit more ground clearance, based off of, I think it's the A4. Volkswagen also has a Golf version of a wagon, and BMW has the 3 Series wagon, and like I said earlier, Mercedes is still producing the E-Class wagon, which you can get in regular E-Class form or AMG form, which leads us into the point of today's video. The E-Class in particular. Now, this is what makes me really love the wagons. I do like the smaller ones, but I really like the larger ones, especially when you start talking about higher performance wagons. And today the only real high performance wagon in the market is the AMG version of the E-Class wagon, and particularly the E63. 2018 version, for 2018 the AMG E63 S Wagon is coming with a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, and it's churning out 603 horsepower and 637 pound-feet of torque. This power is routed through a 9-speed transmission and to a sophisticated, what they call 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. And that is enough to propel this 4,669-pound behemoth from 0 to 60 in right around 3.3 seconds. I think some of the magazines have been able to get closer to 3, but the official number is 3.3 for Mercedes, which we all know is kind of conservative in most parts. Anyways, now that also allows this vehicle to go on to a top speed of about 190 miles an hour in a freaking family station wagon. I mean, can you get any better than that? Granted, yeah, it starts out like $107,000, and it's not cheap by any means, but look what you're getting. This thing is badass, and you can't get any more badass than this wagon on the market today when you're talking about station wagons in particular. So, and as impressive as that is, okay, with that thing coming right off the showroom floor being able to do that, there is a company out there which takes that AMG E63 S Wagon and turns it all the way up to 11. And that company is a German company called G-Power. Now what they've been able to do is, it's a $23,000, which sounds like ridiculous, but when you're talking about a $107,000 station wagon in the first place, the type of people that afford these, this is not really that big of a deal to go an extra 23 grand. Okay, so for 23 grand, let me tell you what this company's doing to this thing. G-Power is coming along, taking the E63 S Wagon, they're sprinkling their magic pixie dust all over it, and they're churning out 800 horsepower, 737 pound-feet of torque. And what this does to it is it takes it from 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. I think their official numbers were like 3.1, so 0.2 seconds faster than the stock, which isn't bad. But it's increasing the top speed of this thing from 190 miles an hour up to 211 miles an hour. You're surpassing 200 miles an hour in a freaking station wagon. Yeah, sign me up, buddy. But there's a problem. The G-Power Performance Package is not available in the United States. It's only for over at that side of the pond. So our only hope is that somebody will come along on our side of the pond in the U.S. market and step up and create something as special as that package for the E63 as what G-Power has. And it's probably going to come in the form of a Rentec solution. They're a company over here that's a tuner, which is synonymous with the AMG brands and Mercedes and stuff like that. So if anybody's going to do it on this side, it's definitely going to be them. Now, with the G-Power package, what do you really get with it? Well, here's what you get for 23. This is what 23 grand buys you. You get their reprogramming of the computers. They're going to install new, larger turbos, stainless steel downpipes, and a full stainless steel exhaust. And that is what 23 grand buys you over there to churn out 800 horsepower in a station wagon. Now, that's pretty badass to me, and I'd love to see something like that here in the States. And in fact, I'd like to see more manufacturers step up to the plate and create more hotter versions of the wagons, because I think they'd actually sell. I mean, they're very versatile with the size of their the boots or the trunks or whatever it is you may call it in the back there. Where a lot of these you can fold the seats down flat, you can fit some good sized cargo and stuff in there, and it's a good alternative to the SUVs, because I'm not a big SUV person. And these wagons are pretty versatile. So let me know what you guys think about that. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. And as you can see, the dog's still sleeping. I'll catch you guys next time around. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow Offbeat Motors over on Instagram and Twitter.